services where services can keep their equipments. And if it is not possible in worst case scenario, then I will go for off-campus rental area for services to keep their equipments. Secondly, the long-term policy is after the completion of our space audit, we are planning to accommodate, to relocate the all the services, like which have their values. Thank you.
So the issue of Sorry, okay, so let me just start again. The issue of space is an important one on campus, and the fact that there are so many competing ideas and needs just shows how much of a lack of space we have. So one of the ways we want to address this is, first, we want to look at improving the current space that we do have. So that involves renovating the SLC, which is a key component of our platform. So looking at places like where CRT is located right now and whether we can improve those conditions to make it more visible and accessible to students is one of our key goals. We also want to tie this back into looking at a new student building. So not having enough study space is an important issue, and one of the ways we can stop the Student Life Center from being the Student Study Center is by looking at ways we can create a new building that has more dedicated study space, and that way the SLC can go back to its function of being the Student Life Center. And then finally, we want to touch on marketing and collaborating with other student groups one more time, because one of the ways we can ensure that services continue to grow is by having continued marketing and visibility. So the more that students know about services, the more they'll want to get involved and the more they'll start to use these services. So for instance, if we look at other student groups that might need CRT, like they might need CRT at those events, but they might not know about it, by marketing more and by working with these student groups, we can ensure that services like the CRT continue to grow. Is by having continued marketing and visibility. So the more that
Thanks again for the question, Natalie. It's really interesting because just yesterday we did a poll on our website. We asked students how they like to see the SLC, if they want to see it more as a collaborative space or more as a study space. It was interesting because majority of the students, the highest option was students would like to see the SLC as more of a multi-use space, and the least common answer was they like to see the SLC as a study space. So I think we get some idea from there. The issue of services office space is very real, and it's very important right now. OCC, Sci, and CRT are both in need of a different office space which meets their needs. And I think relying on a new student building is not the solution we need at this point. At this point, Feds needs to advocate to the university to create more study space on campus right now, because Feds shouldn't be looking into providing study space in this building. It should be the university's job to do that. So in terms of advocacy and working more with the VP Education on that lobbying to removing stacks in libraries, creating more study space in DC, for example, I think that would solve the issue of, that would at least address the issue of lack of study space, and it would create more options for services to have offices that meet their needs in the SLC.
So we just wanted to, this is addressed to Team Spark. We just wanted to make a comment about the poll that you had going on your website. We already have extensive and statistically accurate knowledge that states that students do want the SLC to be a social space. So we just wanted to point out that if you had done your research, you wouldn't actually need the poll because the data already exists. Can I answer?
It's only boss.
Oh, okay.
So obviously, we have also looked at the polls, the research, and the reports that have been done on this issue. The poll is just an interesting way to gain just an idea about what students are thinking. Obviously, our platform is not based around that poll.
And our last question is once again going to be addressing the VP internal. We'll be going in the order of Spark, Green, and then Nova. How do you intend to improve web access for the services?
So as you all probably know, one of the big issues with web access is that if you want to change any single thing on our website, we have to send in a web request to Feds. That web request sometimes takes a few days, and sometimes the web request on like not blaming Fed's marketing, but sometimes it's not done entirely accurately, and we have to send in another web request to fix that. So I think a very quick and easy fix to this would be to allow the service coordinators access to be able to change their section of the website. It will make things incredibly more efficient. And working with the VPOF to look at ways of making more bigger changes to the more bigger is not grammatically correct, but or ignore me. Working with the VPOF to make like large scale improvements to the website, getting rid of things that are not effective, things like Feds Connect, might be one of those things, one of those ways where we can improve the website.
So I will agree with Maz. And in addition, we want to make a website look better, ra- and to add to attract them, to attract the students towards the website. We really want to add events so that students can have a better communication way of getting a knowledge of where the event is. Right now the communication is the biggest issue, and we are also considering a feds app thing. By doing a feds app thing, services have access to post their events, and after posting it, like students can have better way of knowing where the event is and when it is, and that will be more accessible to the students. Thank you.
Okay, so it's an interesting question when we talk about the website, because one of the key points we really want to get across is that there's a lot of talk about changing the design, revamping, the usability, but we really want to emphasize that the importance of a website is actually having the relevant data there present. So we think one of the main issues with things like the Fed's website right now is that the data just isn't physically there, and as a result, people can't access it. So that's one of the main things we want to fix first. We want to make sure that all the relevant information that students need is on the website, and then we can look at things like improving usability, like bringing in Web 2.0 standards and things like that. And the same goes for auxiliary tools like developing a web app. Like, that's a really cool idea, but first we need to make sure the data is actually there. Thank you.
Thank you for all your answers. We'll be taking a 5-minute break. Next up is Food Bank.